All right.
Okay, well, you guys know who Jenny is. Everybody, well, I think everyone who's here knows Jenny, but two people don't. So I don't have to introduce the Creatives Roundtable. I will tell you that coming up on April 20th, we have Michelle Berdinas talking about a client agreement that works for you. She is an attorney. And on May 16th, we have Melinda Livesey back for the fourth time, talking about Uncertified, a new philosophy for the creative overthinker. Um, I'm going to do my Jenny intro just because two of you don't know her. So, several years ago, I was at a How Live event, and this woman, Damian Golden, told me that I should check out the accountability group she was in called Designers Roundtable. I did, and I joined, and I met Jenny. It was the DR, and eventually it became the CR, and here we are. And beginning her career as a graphic designer, Jenny spent years bringing designs to life and fell in love with helping business owners with their marketing strategies. She's always asking questions to get a deeper understanding of their goals and in order to curate the best marketing campaigns. Equal parts right and left brain. Jen is kind of a unicorn. She's a compassionate marketing consultant who just loves data to fuel her creative energy. So when she turned the reins of the Designers Roundtable over to me, she founded Agency Jen, and she creates multi-channel marketing campaigns to maximize brand exposure. She lives to deconstruct your business so she can rebuild your marketing to your unique specifications, matching your customer needs as well as your internal capacity. She calls it growing back. And I would like you all to give a warm welcome back to the CR, Jenny Pop, Jenny Morovsky Pop, excuse me.
Hi, thanks, Nancy. What that's so great. I mean, what a story we have, a timeline of how we all met, how like to watch you guys grow over the years. Like it's just so awesome. So I'm really glad to be here with you guys today. Um, yeah, I'll sprinkle throughout the presentation like where I've been since handing off the DR to the CR along the way. And but today's focus is about how to turn your marketing chaos into conversions. And I really wanted to spend time on the fact that there's so many tips and tricks and tools and things and that you guys have all read about, how to make your marketing easier. And I don't think there is an easy thing. So I'm hoping today that the problems and solutions that we'll walk through, you'll at least be able to take a nugget or two to try to make the efforts a little bit easier. I think, Crystal, I remember years ago we talked about work-life balance and the battle of work-life balance, and I think you said something like, it's a daily battle of figuring out that balance. And I think marketing is the same way. But I have some tips and tricks and things and perspectives really that might be able to help you guys. So before we get really started, I want you all, and I think if you remember me from DR time, like this is your time. Like this time right now, this isn't about Jen vomiting out to you a whole bunch of stuff. This is your time to absorb what you need for your business. And as business owners, this is a privilege, right? Like, and you have to take care of yourself. So I want you to take a big breath in and I want you to blow out anything that's haunting you. Like, like, oh, I got to get the kids in 2 hours, me, or, like a dentist appointment, or I have this deadline or whatever. Like, it's okay to stop that for 60 minutes. The world is not going to end. Your clients are not going to fire you if you don't respond for the next 60 minutes. So give yourself that permission to be hyper present. Okay, so today's agenda, we're going to talk about problems, and I love collaboration. So when I get to certain areas, I'm going to ask you for popcorn or like throw stuff at me, and I love full participation. So if you want to do it in chat, which Nancy will help monitor, or excuse me, or vocally, that's awesome. But we're going to outline some problems, the problems of where marketing chaos comes from, what fuels it, and then we're going to lead into solutions. And then if you stick around with me, I have a free gift for you at the end. So a little bit about my background. Besides the DR, I have a BFA from Ohio University in graphic design. From there, Well, prior to that, I had art apprenticeship where I got to do ceramics and drawing with a world-renowned artist. So I have fine art background as well. I got to do corporate branding with Cardinal Health and PPA in Columbus, Ohio. That's where I really got obsessed with branding. Um, I just engrossed, and I still have the 4-inch binder for Cardinal Health that I use as an example to some of my small businesses. Today, I am a member of Creative Roundtable. I don't get to hop in as much as I like, but I found You Gurus. You Gurus is an elite coaching program that I challenge. Stuttering today. I ask you to check out the Profitable Digital Agency podcast with Brent Weaver. It's a really awesome set of resources. Okay, so when I built my business in 2007, it was called Presque Isle Designs because I was doing designs. And I wanted to someday move back to Presque Isle in Northwest Pennsylvania. And I had a midlife career crisis and I took a job. And that job really opened my eyes up to a lot of things. And fast forward, after COVID, I resurrected my business and renamed it to Agency Gen because I knew in that space that I was really making changes in my clients, and not just by making their stuff look pretty, but really by challenging what they were trying to do. I noticed that when I had an office, I work from home anymore, but when I had an office, clients were coming into me saying, I'm ready to grow, but I don't know how. I know I need marketing, but I don't know what kind of marketing. And I need your help because they were overwhelmed. It's chaotic, right? And what I found was if I navigated them through strategic business questions that would lead to marketing questions, it would really help them build hope, clarity, and confidence to their business. So today we offer brand awareness campaigns, and we do strategic marketing plans, and we're a fractionalized CMO resource for clients. So that's where business wise, that's where the bread and butter is for us. We will hold 8 to 10 private clients as their out of house marketing department. We're on the CMO for these growing companies. Just a handful of blah, blah, blah clients worked with. Speaking stuff, you guys are familiar with some of these, some of them not. And then look at these old pictures I found from the old How days. So fun. Did you guys see Damien's pregnant? Oh,
Yeah.
it's so
Yeah.
exciting. Okay, anyway, so let's dive in. Okay, problem. So what is marketing chaos? It's an overwhelming anxiety about what to say, where to say it, and who to say it to. And it's not often a priority until sales are dropping. And then what that causes us to have this reactionary, oh shit moment. We have to do something. The sales are dropping, work is drying up. We need to activate something. But my approach is let's be proactive. Let's look at the data and monitor sales trends and build campaigns and marketing programs ahead of time that are trackable but flexible. They maximize budgets should you be allocating marketing dollars, and validate efforts and ultimately show results. So you'll find in this talk that I'm going to, because of you guys being independent owners, I'm going to be talking to you as if helping you in your business, but as well as you helping your clients. So I might bounce back and forth between you as owner and what to do for your business and your clients. Okay, so we all struggle with marketing. I'm a big victim of this. I do not market myself. I just I think my biggest hang up in it all was niching, and we'll dive into that later. But I battle with codependency in my personal life and business life. And in business, it's actually a good thing. I think it's what's made me successful because I dive into my clients with this full momentum that I witnessed help them get clear and then helps them get over their fears. So I want to hear from you, and I'm going to try to, I don't think I can type in here at the same time. Let's see. I want to hear from you. What are your biggest marketing problems? What are your biggest challenges in marketing your business? as a business owner, you know, helping your clients, or um, helping your clients or marketing your own company. What are some issues that you guys face? Time, yep. Anything else? Is anybody afraid to market? Efficient, yep. Confidence. Budget? Does money stop you at all? What budget? With the media convincing clients that it's automated little. Ugh. You know, I've been in so many conversations, Jenny, lately that where AI did this, and I have this new AI tool for that. And you know, this is again that back and forth language I'm going to say to you about our clients and ourselves. Um, can you guys are all into like single shop, right? Or maybe small team, right? So to me,
Marcy's a small team. I think everyone else is single shops.
oh yeah, Marcy,
Actually,
oh my
Ginny has a
goodness.
small team too.
Yeah, but small team, you're still a small business, right? As small as in hands touching a project, right? And that means you're building relationships with your clients. And so if you're worried about if you are relationships, I say AI, the background stuff, and keep things personal on the front end stuff. That's one of my pet peeves. Okay, so we have clarity, we have time, efficient, confidence, budget. What are some of the other things? Or is that it? Anything that pretty much covers your problems right now?
We've also got procrastination there, not knowing what to
Oh,
say,
yeah.
knowing how much work it takes to get done.
I don't know. Can you guys see me typing it in at the same time? No?
No.
Here, I'll resume share. I was trying to do it in another slide to see. All right, well, here's some of them. You see my other slide, right? So, but these are things I hear from my clients: time, efficiency, not knowing, or owners really say, like, I'm not a marketing person. I have my admin do it, and I don't know what to tell my admin to do that's the right thing to do. Or my favorite one is I just talked to a nonprofit, a small nonprofit here the other day, and they're like, yeah, we got $10,000 grant. And I said, great, like that's, you haven't had that before. Like, what are you going to do with it? And they handed it all to one channel. And I said, okay, that's interesting. Let me know how that works for you. Um, okay, so now this is great. This is exactly what I wanted to hear from you guys. I'm going to flip back over here. Okay, so one of them was we kind of alluded to being overwhelmed, right? It's overwhelming. Marketing and creative communications for our clients is one thing, doing it for ourselves is another. It's just plain overwhelming. We can have analysis paralysis. We can freeze and then do nothing at all because of fear, intimidation, and just the fogginess of not knowing where to start. So it's a battle between, I don't know if you guys have heard these phrases of being a visionary and being an integrator. You know, so you have a thinker and you have the doer, right? I myself am a visigator, right? Where I'm trying to be at this big level visionary side of things, but I get trapped in the tools. Like the other day, I was building a page in the site and I was like, oh, but what if I could do this and could do that and could do that? And like, and I just start, my coach called me a tinkerer. And I just start tinkering too far. And then before I know it, I'm like, oh, so what was the best tool? Doesn't matter. Right? Like I totally doesn't matter. Like let's just get it done. Um, you know, and then I always want things to be perfect. My other for years I've always had coaches and they call me perfect poff. And they always would make me feel like it's bad, right? That my perfectionism characteristic is a bad thing. But anyway, it's wanting our time, overwhelming. It's wanting our time to be valuable and to drive results. So all of these things together, not sure when to start, when's the best time, where, what, who, it's just plain overwhelming and we just freeze. Then when we're frozen or even stuck in this space, we're worried about what to say. A lot of you guys even said that today about what do we even talk about? Well, it's, you can see this pattern of who, what, where, when, how. Who are you trying to attract? For years in our community, we've talked about niching, and that's great. I think it's absolutely critical, but I challenge you to niche who your audience is. You can't be everybody to you can't be everything to everybody everywhere. So I think for ourselves and our clients, we have this fear and a denial that we're not experts, right? But people pay you. People are paying you for your expertise. We get to raise our prices. We get awards and accreditations. When the invoice comes in, we celebrate. But why are you lacking for things to say when you're an expert? You guys have all been in business a long time. For all of the ones that I do know in here, I mean, it's at least 8 to 10 years for most of you. So why do you have a lack of things to say? Could it be that you're not sure what your clients or your prospects want? Or do you not know what they need? The premise of this slide is to challenge you on who are your clients? Who are your prospects? Who are you really trying to serve? And what problems do you solve? That will help you answer a lot of the other questions as to what to say and where to say it. The other thing you guys said in that other slide was confidence, right? So this is a problem, lack of confidence. Who will hear me? We're all women in here, and we suffer from this the most, from imposter syndrome. Like it's such a like it's a crux, it's a kryptonite. The other day I spoke at my daughter's high school for Women's History Month, and I went up there. I was nervous as shit for some reason, even though I've talked on stage before, but just the way the light was and I couldn't see the audience, I all of a sudden got like really scared, and I was like quivering my voice, and then the podium was moving, and I just was like, ugh. And I sat down and my heart was just broken. The imposter syndrome fell in, and I was just so worried that I was not delivering what my daughter wanted for this thing. And I needed validation, right? I think as women, we all want validation. And it took about 4 of her friends to come and hug me and say, Mama Pop, that was great. You did a good job. And it's hard to get that from our clients, that validation, or prospects, until they pay the bill, right? Like it's not like in a job where you're getting promotions and evaluations and your boss is telling you, great, you need to move up. We have to be our own confidence builders, right? And it goes beyond getting paid from the invoice. So that voices in our head that tell us we're not good enough, that we have a spiral of doubts of who's listening to us, who's even going to give a crap about what we say, what are they going to think about what we have to say, are they going to understand what we have to say, who really care that what we have to offer? And then you just become afraid, and then you just shut up because you just think it's not worth it. But we have to go back and remember, well, I'm not on solutions yet, but you have to remember the good stuff of what you offer. All right, we talked about budget today, right? Budget conscious. I know for me, even if I have the cash to spend, I get worried about what's the affordability of it. If I need people on the team for a project, like let's say I'm going to bust out a marketing engine for myself, but I need people to help me do it. How do I understand the affordability? If I invest X to get it built and put an X into it to get it out, how do I know that's going to return for me? What's my expectation there? So this is always tough, but we all know it takes money to make money. But it also takes people and our time, which makes us wonder about that affordability. If we do invest, we need to understand the numbers. And we're all creatives here, and we're probably all hate numbers, right? But if you can work with your financial team and understand numbers in a way that makes sense for you, it's really empowering. It's daunting to think about how to maximize dollars. And I said earlier about that 10 grand being spent in one place. It's just hard. Like, where do you put the money then? Where do you put your time? When will you know it's working? How do you trust vendors in which you've handed money to that they're doing the right thing? And I think, for me, I have a vendor who kind of fucked up a campaign. Can I curse, Nancy? I should have asked you that.
Why not?
All right, love it. Who fucked up a campaign the other day, and I saw the web traffic completely drop. And I think, you know, A, if client was working direct to vendor, they're not going to notice that, number one. And number two, I'm pushing on that vendor hard. So sometimes they love me and sometimes they hate me. But all these budget conscious, who do I need in my team? What can I expect? What are the goals I'm trying to do? These are all big questions. I have a couple more problems for us to go through. Not enough time, we said that, right? I don't have time to run marketing. I'm running the business. I don't have time to train somebody. These are all my favorite phrases. I don't have time to look or build a new system to implement marketing. Now, Chris, remember we made that tools worksheet years ago? Like someone said to me, oh, why don't you switch from ClickUp to Asana? I'm like, fuck that. I'm not switching. That takes too much time. I'm good where I'm at. Um, and so asking yourself about time can be opening up a can of worms, right? The more projects that will be revealed that need your attention when your clients need you more, right? So if you're going to turn on a marketing engine for yourself, it might lead to, oh, I need to clean up that free download. Oh, it needs to connect to Active Campaign. Oh, I was in my website and this page needs to be fixed. And oh, I haven't updated social. It opens up this flurry of other crap that you need to do. And I'm going to tell you to not worry about it. And you know, the bottom line is you have to do something or you're going to do nothing. And I'm sure many of you are going to sit here and say, I need leads now. And, you know, maybe you need leads now. Maybe you think you need leads a little bit later or soon. You know, I'm going to ask you, how do you keep that consistent pipeline fueled? How do you keep inquiries and versus static noise filtered? How do you create the value of a client? You know, has anybody even thought about like, what is the value if I got one new client? How does that impact my business goals for the year? Where am I losing prospects? I'm going to talk about this one hard later on in this slide deck. Because chances are you're getting eyeballs, but if you're losing them, you're losing money and sabotaging. And then to go back to again, how much work can I handle? You know, sometimes I worry I'm going to turn on something and I'm going to get too many appointments. I was just talking to a girl, Deborah, yesterday. She has too many appointments on her calendar. And what's happening now is this anxiety of my team's not big enough. I can't handle that many projects, but I need to find like the one or two great leads in that program. So what do you do when they're qualified or not qualified or the wait list? Like these are all systems and frameworks that need some attention, right? Before you can, well, not before, but while you're flying the plane. Like as much as I hate that phrase, fly the plane, build the plane as you fly it. Sometimes it's relevant. All right, so we've outlined a lot of problems. Are you ready to get into some more some solutions? I've kind of teased them a little bit. Or actually, Nancy, I'll pause. Is there any questions or anything I need to address? Or anybody have questions or anything you want to add before I dive further?
Lydia, do you want to make your comment?
Sure. So yeah, so I put in the chat, like I have a VA team that works with me and they're awesome and I love them, but I feel like I'm determining ROI kind of loosely, like, oh yeah, people are commenting on my posts or, you know, reading my blog, but I feel like I need more concrete sort of ways to track that ROI for those kinds of marketing investments that I'm making.
Sure. Hopefully I'll have some ideas for you on that. All right, we'll keep going.
Yeah,
Get
keep
into the
going.
good stuff. Oh, sorry, what?
Yeah, I just said, yeah, keep going.
Okay.
Yeah.
Get into the good stuff. I'll have a free gift to help you measure marketing results then. Okay, so we talked about being overwhelmed, right? Over the problems on the left. How do we get clear? It's getting specific. It's again, I mentioned it earlier. It's about getting specific about who you're trying to engage. That makes everything like the floodgates so much easier and more impactful, more connecting, more memorable, more personal, and ultimately helps you say yes or no to the right questions. You know, I think I am a suffer from getting clear on who the ideal customer is. I mean, for years I refused to niche my customer. I wanted to deal with all kinds of services, all kinds of businesses. But what I found was then I'm not their authority. And I can't, my favorite phrase, I can't fish where the fish are. If I'm going to fish in all these ponds and I don't have any money to throw into all these ponds, I'm going to get tired really quickly, right? I'm going to tire my money. I'm going to tire my efforts. So fish where the fish are is the huge component here. And you know that when you identify your ideal buyer. This is also the path of least resistance. If you know that, let's see, I'm trying to remember what everybody does here. I'm going to pick on Jen David Connolly. You guys remember Jen David? She does food packaging, right? So super niche deliverable, right? But then super niche customer. It's this whole food, organic, super loving food where she's going to go right to those ponds, right? She's going to go to the food events, the food associations, the food networks, the food directories, the food Facebook groups. Like she has narrowed the pond so much that now she becomes the big fish there, right? So putting your bait in becomes super easy. And you start to set yourself up as the authority, right? That's the whole point, because I know all of us want to raise prices, work less, make more. And that happens by becoming an authority, the trusted person. People do business with those they know, like, and trust. So we use marketing to get them to know us, to get them to like us, and we get them on the call so they can trust us and hook them through, right? But these are all part of the systems. Now, all of that can get super complicated and heavy, but I challenge you to keep it simple. As a small business owner, you got to let go of the pressures of being everywhere and doing so much. Like, you don't have to be on social. Like, you don't. If your fish are not on social, then don't spend your time on social. If you're blogging religiously, then make sure you're looking at Google Analytics to see if it's doing anything, if anybody's even reading them. But this fish where the fish are is the best thing. If there's no fish coming, you got to move on and find a different pond. The more hyper focused you can get, then you only have to do one or two things really awesomely. Master them, prove that they generate your desired results, and then level them up. So like Lydia said earlier about her VA doing parts of it, it takes us first to master the effort, and then we can delegate pieces off. And just remember that something is better than nothing. That yesterday quote there, I saw this the other day. The best time to plant a tree is 20 years ago, but the second best time to plant it today. So even though you wanted to do all these things before, like I would love to blog, I got all kinds of things to say, but I need leads now. Right? So I'm going to put the effort that I'm writing into blogs into finding those ponds and diving into those ponds hard. Okay, the next problem we said was what to say. This one is a simple solution that I want you to keep in forefront of your business all the time. It's not about you. It's about them. Who are they? It comes back again to knowing who your ideal customer is. Your marketing shouldn't be I'm so great, I'm so awesome, my services are so awesome, look at me, look how flashy I am. It doesn't need to be that. Instead, the language should be about how you help them. And you help them when you understand their problem, and you understand your problem when you understand who they are. It's a selfless focus on helping the prospect do better, be better, grow more, impact more. And when that happens, then they value your help. They know that you understand. They know that they want your expertise because you've already demonstrated you understand their business. You understand their language. You're in their ponds and you relate to them. And so they're going to trust you. And now here's an opportunity. Once that happens, now you can level up, right? Because you become invaluable. You're the trusted one. You're the one they focus on. Here's a great example I had years ago. Was I was helping a chiropractor build a referral program, and she wanted to connect with OBs in our area because she specializes in women's health. specifically like the sciatic and the pregnancy week pains and things. And the first campaign that we put out, and by campaign I mean we did a multi-touch point initiative to this directory of OBs in the community, and it was focused on partner with us. We're the women's health experts, right? And what happened was we got very limited response. And when we audited some of the OBs that we were personal friends with and talked to them, they gave us some very interesting advice. In that when we changed it to, instead of we're the experts, we changed the language to help your patients feel better with holistic support. Right. So now these OBs are like, I want to help my clients. There's some of my patients that don't want medicine or this or that, and they want organic ways to help them. Yeah, but that's not my thing. I'm an OB. I'm the MD, and I'm gonna do these things. But yeah, I want to be able to offer these holistic things. I'd love to partner with you to help me help my patients. Right. So when we flipped it from I'm the expert and flipped it to help your patients, it really turned the page. She got more leads, she got more conversations, more partnerships. And the way we could measure that was her patient count. And she knew when she hit 90 patients in a month or a week, I forget now, it's so long ago, but she had a threshold. She knew that that was the threshold in which to hire a doctor into the practice. So we watched that trickle over the time of building these relationships and watch the numbers increase. So speak to the pain of who your audience is and tease at the solutions. Don't just throw it at them. Tease it, sprinkle it a little bit. Just give them enough to get them curious. You don't have to give away your secret sauce, just enough to showcase that you know what you're talking about. This mentality will greatly impact your blogs, newsletters, social, all of it. But just remember, you don't have to give it all away, just enough to spark curiosity. All right, we talked about confidence. This one's easier said than done. You're a business owner, right? We just sat here and said you guys have been in business 8, 10 plus years. This is your baby. This is your creative genius. Own your shit. Be proud of it. Have confidence that the years of experiences, the amount of revenue you've generated over the years, the countless clients that have hugged you and loved you because of what you did for them, remember those moments, because those will fuel your soul to build that confidence. One of my favorite tips is from Marsha Marsh, real person. If you guys remember back in the DR, they were one of my main clients, Marsha Marsh Real Estate Services. She was a leading agent in our county and the envy of all the entry-level agents. And I would always hear them ask her, Marsha, how did you get from entry-level, like low-level listings to now she's the elite real estate agent? They wanted to know what the secret sauce was of elevating her listings. And she just looked right at him and say, fake it till you make it. And that's it. Her answer was building relationships, faking it until she had the proof that she was the leading agent. She said, I've gone broke climbing. It was hard work. It was big risk, but the rewards were worth it. Now she's one of the top 5 agents in our county. My mouse just died. Hold on. All right,
That's
I
something
tried.
we don't plan for.
Right? Well, and if I use the magic mouse, then the Google slides slip all over.
Can you just use the arrows on your keyboard?
Okay. Confidence, ownership, self-validation. Know you're awesome. Fight the fear. Right? Change nothing. Here's some of my quotes that in this whole light of confidence. Fight fear. Change nothing and nothing will change is a good one. Focus forward only. And this is your business. You have the ability to navigate its future. You're in control. You're in control. And I'm going to hit that again in a little bit. Okay, we talked about budget consciousness. So being a business owner, entrepreneur means you're all entrepreneurs. None of you have a business in a box service, is what I call it, right? When someone just says, here's the business, now operate, right? You've all have created your own stuff to sell. You are that being an entrepreneur means that you are apt to taking calculated risks to generate revenue for your business. But how do you calculate risk? Get my mouse on. All my notes. Okay, I like a crawl, walk, run method. I like to start slow and test the waters. This will help you build a proven framework that can grow. This will help you empower to delegate things off to later. But you have to know the numbers. As creatives, this is hard, but they're powerful. Keep them simple and understand the CLV, client lifetime value. Now, this is a question for you guys of when you get a client in, is it a one-off project and they go? Or is this a long-term buildup with a client? Where's the revenue model heavier, right? The one-offs or the relationship building? Because you're going to see the value shift here, right? If you have a lot of one-offs, you're going to want to increase that price. But if you have long-term relationships, now you're talking long-term investment and look at a bigger picture. But that CLV number is really empowering when it comes back to figuring out your budget. Because they're going to say to you when you turn on digital marketing, what is one new client worth to you? If you spent X amount, how many clients would you need to get back in order to make that money back? You have to know these answers for yourself, for your clients, but this helps you track results, right? We said earlier, measuring marketing efforts is really hard to track, but it tethers back to sales and business operations of understanding your financial portfolio. I was at a networking thing the other day, and I was telling this guy what I do and how I help people figure out how to spend their marketing dollars and help them measure the return. And he's like, "Oh, you're like me," and I'm like, "He's a financial advisor," and I'm like, "Yeah, no, I'm not like you. I'm not a financial advisor." He's like, "No, people give me money to diversify into a portfolio and to give them the max amount of return." He's like, "That's what you do for their marketing budget. They say, here's $50,000. What do I do with it? You put it into a portfolio and you show them what the return is." So remember that free gift I mentioned earlier? That is part of this. Okay, so keep that in mind. So calculated risk, have a framework, understand your numbers so that when you start tracking marketing, it becomes a bit clearer. I use this slide with clients who say to me, "I don't know how much to spend." And they're making money. I mean, if they weren't making money, they wouldn't have reached out to a consultant, right? But I say to them, well, how aggressive is your marketing? Like, how aggressive do you need to grow your business? I've had some people who do tech startups push them in that 11 to 20% range. But this is all up to you now, you and your clients, of where you fit. As an example, when I was the director of marketing for this ginormous hospitality company, we have a big ski and water park resort. So they're multi-million-dollar resorts, and they spend less than 2% on their marketing because they just need to stay the course. Now, what I challenged them was, okay, if I spend this money within your season spikes and I show that I can get you a return, can I get more money to push it into the lower season so that we can balance out your seasonal revenue streams? And they said yes. But I use this as an example, right? Like how to gauge what's your temperature. How much are you willing to do? Because you could look at 10% of your $100,000 and think, I can't give $10,000 into this right now, but I'm willing to stay the course and stay minimal and hit a 3%. Now I'm going to show you another piece that I use with a client. This is a coaching consultant that I'm working with. She has zero marketing budget. And I said, well, let's try to understand your numbers. So we built this table of the service items in which she's trying to sell, the price in which they are today. She's testing it. She just launched a few weeks ago or months ago. And ultimately how many she could handle. The client goal is how much can you handle in a year? and then figuring out the revenue from there. So if she wants to do 50 consultations, she's going to have this balance. She's testing of a free consultation versus the paid consultation. So she could make anywhere from $0 to $10,000 if she had 50 consultations. Now this, oh, sorry. Where'd it go? See that damn mouse. So this helps you really understand, you got to understand your capacity for growth, right? This is where I say grow smart. Set some benchmarks. Will she hit 100 introductory meetings, or will she sell 12 solution workshops? In your first year, you don't know, right, for this particular case, but it gives her a benchmark to go by to set smarter goals next year. So for you guys who have been in business a long time, look at your service menu and put some numbers to it. Put them in a table like this and say, like, Christine, are you still doing, you do illustrations, right? Right. So like, I'll call it a small illustration package, right? I don't know what your package is, but let's say it's a small illustration package. It's this price, how many in a year do you want to give or sell? Right. And then looking at that of what your capacity is, because I know for me, when I hit my growth curve obstacle, my pricing was all based on time. How am I going to make more money, but I don't have any more time? That helped me shift my pricing. And that last year I was in business, which was 18, I hit my highest revenue numbers yet. When I came back from COVID and resurrected, that was 20. I just kind of like was dusting it off. 21, I doubled the revenue in 18. 22, I doubled 21. And this year, I just want to stay flat because that was crazy. Right. And so what I'm looking at, what helped me do that, what helped me 2x and 4x my stuff, was understanding how many I can sell, how many I can deliver, because I didn't want to get overwhelmed. I didn't want to give a bad experience, right? Because I'm going to go out there and say, here's what we can do, and then have too many things come in or not be able to deliver enough. This also fuels your affordability, right? So it's a great little benchmark to work from. And your accountant will love it, because when I said to him, yeah, I did this much in 18, I did this much in 20, and hey, I doubled in 22. And he's like, Jen, or 21. And he's like, let's build you a revenue forecast tool. And so then I took these numbers and I split it out across the month, and I touch it every month to see how my forecast is measuring up to the actual. This helps you build sales trends too. All right, we're more than halfway there. That's a lie. Time. You guys are all in the accountability group. You know how to commit time. Get a My Life planner, get an accountability buddy, but ultimately it's treat yourself like your very best client, right? I have been the victim of this, where I block out Marketing Monday. Remember those things we did way back? It was like Marketing Monday, Blog Thursday, or a website, whatever the things were. And I had them hanging on my desk. I blocked out the calendar. But if that juicy client came along, I delete it and put the client back in it. But since I flipped that and I hold my time sacred, I can get more shit done. Hold that time sacred. That is a non-negotiable in your calendar. The client is not going to leave because you can't meet at 9 o'clock on Friday. Just tell them I can meet you at 9:30. They're going to respect you for it. They're not going to dump you. And use your accountability partner to hold it to yourself. You just have to commit to yourself. Remember, this is your baby. This is your ship. You get to navigate it. You get to push it the way you want it to go. All right, I need leads now. And you guys heard the acronym ABC? Always be closing. Right? You just have to think about that. Anytime you're meeting with people, you should be listening to what they have to say, their problems are. And then these are just a few other tips. Riches and niches, which we've heard before, right? And I think in the years of having the niche conversation with you guys, I always felt like I had to niche my service, right? And as a designer, it was like, well, I can do business cards, but I can do full-blown RV vehicle wraps. You know, like I don't want to pick just one. So to me, niching and my delivery was hard, but then I sucked it up and did it. Now I niche in branding and marketing strategies. But niching in who your audience is really where the riches are. I shared you that podcast. I'm also going to share to you this book, Get Rich in the Deep End by Brent Weaver. Same guy as the podcast. I don't know about you guys, but I would salivate listening to his podcast. Just he speaks our language, like from business to tactical, all across the board, from marketing to operations to scale to business life. Like, and he signed it. I have to have people sign it. Yay. And he put the riches in the niches. I almost wanted him to put riches in the niches, bitches, but he didn't do that. But this is riches and niches. Know your numbers we've talked about and your volume thresholds. And this R. So this R is a new thing. I can't wait to show it to you. I think that it does deviate from marketing, but to me, it really helped me position me as an owner within my business machine so that I could pinpoint exactly where my attention was needed. Remember, because our time is valuable, right? And it's just really catapulted my efforts in-house. So I'm going to share that with you. Tighten up your turnaround windows. Have you guys ever thought about, I call them booking windows, but that's from my hospitality stint of time. You know, if it takes you, I'm going to pick on Christina again. Christina, if it takes an illustration for you averages, 4 weeks or whatever, could you tighten that even closer? Could you make it 2 weeks? And then you could double the volume in which that package was. Where can you find these levers that you can turn just a little bit that can make big impact on your business? And then quantify sales quantities, which we talked about earlier. Okay, so before I show you this R, here's one more piece. The R is really cool. Nancy, do I have time? I have 10 minutes?
Yeah, 9 minutes. You're good.
Okay. So I'm going to get to the R, but here's some more marketing stuff. And this was huge just in this last couple months with some client projects of mine. Marketing is the baton handoff in a relay race to the sales team, right? And if sales and marketing don't play in the same sandbox, which for ourselves, we're the marketing and the sales department, but for our clients, if they don't play in the same sandbox, they're sabotaging us. And I had about 4 clients last year that fucked this up so bad, I fired them. Risky, but you're sabotaging it. I want to show that my marketing is doing something. And if you're going to fuck up that handoff, I don't want to work with you. Okay, so when leads and sales are low, you have to identify the bottleneck. Is it the wrong message? Is it the wrong target? What are your customers saying, or the leads coming in, or the people around you? What are they saying about what you're doing? What objections are they having when you do get them on the phone? If you can't get them to the next call, why? Understand what's happening. If you get the eyeballs and you're getting them in, and the handoff goes to sales, different call, then try to pinpoint where problems are happening, because they're going to happen. Doesn't matter how great your system is. You got to understand where the bottlenecks are. So this is just a little example. So marketing generates leads, right? That's ultimately the whole point. If you're making something pretty, it's for somebody else to get leads, right? Or to increase revenue. And I don't mean that as making things pretty. I value design 100%, but you get the point. The point of marketing is they got to get phone calls. They got to get form submissions. They got to get appointment bookings, right? Because all of those things go to sales, right? The pink arrow is the baton. And the sales job is to close the deal, right? And then that equals your business growth. So sales is challenged. Owner comes in and says, hey, we got to grow the business by 10%. Sales turns on okay, we got to focus on our numbers. Where's the bottleneck happening? Hey, marketing, we need some more leads. Great, right? I mean, that's how the system works. Well, let me show you some things that happen. So let me come back to that. So I had this dentist. This is another problem of not niching in an industry. I will never work with dentists again. had a dentist. They acquired a bunch of different practices, so different patients. And besides that, she built a new building, and so she really wanted to kick up, like, I'm the known dentist in this town. And I said, okay, how much business growth are you thinking about doing? She did 10%, and which hit my marketing thermometer, right? So I said, okay, well, 10% of your revenue is this much marketing dollars. Can you do that? She goes, oh, no, I can't do that. And she pushed down to like 6 or 7%. Fine. And we turned on some multi-channel ad campaigns. In 2 months, those specific ad campaigns, which the tool that I use can capture names, phones, and emails. In 2 months, we captured 300. And I have that vendor bill directly to the client so that I don't have to middleman it, right? So she, because she's a dentist and doesn't know business, went through her expense list and saw this line item that was coming out each month and didn't understand it, went to the vendor, tried to cancel it. He called me and said, hey, Jen, just so you know, your dentist is trying to cancel our program. I'm like, okay, hold on, let me get her on the phone. And I show her the dashboard in which shows all the things that we're doing and that there's 300 names, emails, and phone numbers. And I said, so what happened to them? What happened to these 300 names? What, like, how's your patient count looking? Oh, the patient count's flat. Okay, well, what happened to these 300 phone calls? You know, in these 300 phone calls, can you tell me, like, did 20% ask for this dental insurance that you don't offer? Like, you could have retained 20% of those calls if you had that insurance. Or did 15% ask you for a service that you don't offer that maybe we told people you offer? Or, like, you know, what happened in those 300? And they couldn't say it. So I challenged her to go back. And I said, if you could get 4 patients out of this 300 list, and I made the spreadsheet stupid easy for her to use, of which she tried to tell me her patient records couldn't track, no, whatever. Like, if you could get 4 patients from this list, then you paid for this tool. She came back to me later and was like, I don't know what happened to them. I'm like, okay, maybe you're not ready to grow. So then another one, it was a home healthcare company. And after COVID, you know, everybody needs to hire, right? But they specifically need home healthcare aides. The minimum qualifications for this job is a GED and a driver's license. So the pool's really big to get this, you know, for applicants. And we spent a shit ton of money because it's a statewide company. And we ran this campaign for
3 minutes.
Okay, we ran it for 6 weeks. They got 800 apps, and look what happened. They only hired 15. They DQ'd a majority of them right off the top, and they couldn't tell me why. They couldn't tell me why they were DQ'd at all. So they only had less than 2%, and I found out industry standard was 10% conversion. We ran the same thing again just in February. I got them 1,000 applications in 4 weeks because we learned so much from the first one. And they hired 33. So at least they increased their conversion rate. But what happened in those conversations was they're like, yep, marketing's doing their job. We're getting the applications. Now we got to talk to our site managers and figure out what the fuck is going on. So I validated the return in their investment, and they show that it was an in-house problem. Okay, here's the R. R. Okay, so R. This is so fun. R is a new tool that I told you that I've been implementing for myself and my clients. I'm going to talk really fast. Does anybody care? Because I only have 3 minutes. Okay. So we're going to walk you through this super quickly. And if you're interested in it, I can send you a template so you can outline your own. The result from when I did this with my coaching program is it painted a full picture of my business machine, and it revealed the bottlenecks, successes, elevation opportunities, and the urgent fires that I need to put my attention on right now. I'm gonna make this bigger so you can see it. So because remember, we said our time is precious, our budget's precious, we got to make sure it's impactful. So R stands for acquisition. How do we get leads? Activation. How do we convert leads to clients? Revenue. What do we sell? Retention. How do we serve them? Referral. Obvious, how we ask for referrals. So here's mine super up close. Acquisition. How do I get new clients? referrals, networks, webinars, emails, all this crap, which is really like trickles in like our guests, right? Like it just is a slow, like every once in a while. But where I found the gold mine is when I hit the associations and directories. And that comes from knowing who I'm talking to. So I am niching in B Corps, B corporations, and there's a shit ton of B Corp directories, associations, Facebook, LinkedIn groups. I'm going anywhere of those ponds where the B Corps are. And I'm pumping right into that pond. Now I have the right bait into the right pond. Okay. And so my ask there, the first point of entry is a meet and greet. You guys see that on my website, and I've talked about meet and greets a lot. This is my qualification call. So whatever you want to call it, it's a free 30-minute call. I'm doing like an A/B test between a free marketing audit where you just get to ask me anything and a meet and greet to see which one grabs more. So Lydia, back to your VA tests, challenge them of playing between one meeting type and another meeting type and see which grabs more. From there, if they're qualified, I put them into a free discovery call, which I'm just unpacking the needs. Because this 30 minutes, it's just like, are you cool? Do I want to work with you? Do we have some vibe going? It's like the first date, right? Like we're just getting a drink. And if you want to go to dinner, this discovery is the dinner date. We're going to go further. So I'm going to unpack the needs and wants and challenges, and I'm going to identify what goals they're trying to achieve. Then I book another call. This is the solution. So I'm reiterating back to their pain, saying, hey, remember, these were the pains and challenges that you had. Now here are the services that I'm positioning for you that I think are going to be the best for you to get the best results. Here's my verbal offer of how much that is. And I get their buy-in. And then I book the final call to walk through the proposal. I used to just use Proposify to send it off to them, but now I don't. I'm walking through set expectations. Onboarding, services, your revenue. So I know that I feed one into the other. One-off project or retention. How do I keep them hooked and nurture them? And referrals. So I'm doing that really, really fast because I want to show you one more thing, right? So this is pretty cool. It just helps you pinpoint, like outline your system. And for me, what I learned was my biggest hang up right here is my services. I need to reposition the content so that my audience gets it. Because I get them in, I just got to get them to understand what the things are. Okay, now my free gift to you, because we're so out of time. So sorry, let's see. Can you tell me what are some of your takeaways today? What's something that you're gonna go back to your business with and try to implement? Good. Yep, I have a PDF for you. Yay.
We can send the template out when we send the recording out and everything.
Yep. And then I'm going to show you, because I know we're out of time. Transparent, blah, 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 blah. Okay, I have this tool that I use. I gotta find it. Where'd it go? It's so simple, guys. It's just a really pretty spreadsheet. There it is. It's a really pretty spreadsheet that, no, darn it. And at the top of it is business performance. And this is where I challenge the business owner or you guys. What are your business goals? Are you trying to get appointments? Are you trying to sell a specific service? Are you trying to speak at so many events? And keep track of those quantities each month. And at the bottom of this shows high-level marketing measurement to track. So your Google Analytics can get super overwhelming. But in my tool, I simplify it just to views and users and top pages. Nancy, if it's cool, I'll do a little video about what this toolkit template is.
That would be great. That would be great.
And then people can just shoot me an email.
Yeah, because we really do need to wrap up.
Yeah, okay, I'm gone. So listen, thank you so much for your time. And you can just reach me at jenny@agencygen.com. Thank you for having me.
Thanks so much, Jenny. Really appreciate it. It was great. And I'll send your information out to people as well as you'll send me the PDF, etc.
Yep, sounds good.
Okay. Thanks, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.